Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos and content about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. If you have a question that you'd like for me to answer, make sure you send it to justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. So make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification and the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload new videos on this channel 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And if you need more help than what this video can provide, this video is sponsored by BetterHelp. My channel is sponsored by BetterHelp. You can scroll down to the description box. You can connect with an online therapist. You can get in a lot faster. There's not a long wait, and it is a lot more affordable than connecting with a therapist in person. And when you use my link and they know that you're a friend of mine, you'll get 15% off your first month of online therapy with BetterHelp. So with all that being said, let's get into today's email. This email comes from a person who is struggling with co-parenting with a narcissist and wants to know how can they continue to heal. And this email reads, "Hello, Matt. My question is, how does a person heal when they still have to co-parent with the narcissist?" And this is something that's very common. It is a struggle because oftentimes you'll hear myself or other creators, other coaches, other therapists talk about the importance of going no contact with a narcissist. And the reason why no contact is so important is because it's very similar. We have to understand that toxic, unhealthy relationships, narcissistic relationships, they are much more like a drug, much more like an addiction that you're trying to break, rather than a normal breakup. Now, normal breakups, normal divorces are difficult in and of themselves. But when you're talking about a narcissistic relationship, it is even more difficult because of the adrenaline, the cortisol, literally the same parts of the brain that deals and functions with not just any addiction, but heroin addiction causes a lot of problems. And oftentimes you're trauma bonded, but the problem is that since you can't go no contact, you're oftentimes still dealing with this person. And so what do we do? How do we heal? Even though you can't go no contact, it is vital. It is important for you to go low contact. Quite often when I hear this question with people who are co-parenting, they struggle with setting and enforcing boundaries for a handful of reasons. Number one, they are so used to trying to please and trying to keep the narcissist happy. They think that it's their responsibility to keep the narcissist happy. It is not. Not only is it not your responsibility, it won't work. They weren't happy when the two of you were together. They're not going to be happy with the two of you being apart. So oftentimes people don't set and enforce boundaries. They allow for the narcissist to come over, they hang out, they go to the narcissist's house. They think that this is in the best interest of the child. Oftentimes the narcissist will convince them of that. You know, the children need to see us together and as a happy family. If it didn't work when you were together, it won't work now. You have to understand, think about all the times that you've had a disagreement with the narcissist. When the two of you are together, they would explode over some of the most minor things that you can think of, over lunch, over dinner, where you're going to go for vacation. And they would have these major explosions, right, over small differences of opinion and small disagreements. The divorce and what you do with your life afterwards is the biggest disagreement that you will ever have with a narcissist. So we have to understand that they're using the children as pawns and trying to keep control. So we need to set and enforce some much more concrete boundaries. They're not coming to your house. You're not going over to their house. You're not sharing birthdays. You're not sharing holidays. And I know that hurts for a lot of people to hear, but it's necessary for you to be able to get your life back, and for you to begin to instead of responding to every single message that comes through and responding within 5 minutes, you think that oftentimes people think that helps, and it does not. Take your time responding. And this isn't a punishment towards them. They're going to make it seem like it's punishment. Oh, you must be out there fucking somebody else. They're going to make all sorts of accusations. This has nothing to do with them and everything to do with you taking your power back, you empowering yourself, you also taking that time to alleviate yourself of the triggers of you going into fight or flight, because oftentimes people who struggle with co-parenting get triggered whenever they hear their phone or see a notification go through on their phone, especially when they know that it's the narcissistic co-parent. And so it's important for you to take your power back by not responding quick, taking your time, giving yourself time to respond, giving an appropriate response. One of the things we have to understand, not just about people who are narcissistic, but also people who are manipulative and controlling, is one of the things that they do is they create a sense of urgency. Because if they can create a sense of urgency, all of a sudden you're not thinking right, you're not thinking straight. And so you're literally just telling them something just to alleviate the situation, just to please them. And oftentimes that is not the appropriate response in the situation. And then next thing you know, you're agreeing to things that have nothing to do with co-parenting, and all of a sudden you're at their house or they're at your house. And so the very foundation of healing after narcissistic abuse is no contact if you don't share children, low contact if you do. And then we need to get a mindfulness practice. We need a support system, co-parenting support system. So without knowing more of what your struggle is, it's difficult to pinpoint some of the other areas that you need to get into. But some of the basics are that you need to develop a mindfulness practice to help deal with your triggers, getting involved with a coach or a therapist. Again, I mentioned BetterHelp, which is down below. That's something that you can get into, but it's important for us to begin to set and enforce boundaries. Yes, they're going to make threats. Yes, they're going to come to their own conclusions. And because anytime a narcissist begins to lose control, it becomes very, very difficult. So thank you very much for writing in. For those of you who have a question that you want me to answer on this channel, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. And again, if you need more help than what this video can provide, make sure you go down to the links below, connect with an online therapist through BetterHelp. With all that being said, I will see you in the next video. You guys have a lovely rest of the week.